Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of For What It's Nerd. Today, we are doing a book haul. So, whilst this episode is still being uploaded to usual sites, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., this episode is probably best watched live because there will be a lot, not live, sorry, that's the wrong word. This episode is best watched on YouTube as well, maybe supplementary later, or if you're listening right now, or if you're on YouTube already, congratulations, you picked the superior medium in this instance, because we're going to go and look at these books at the same time as I'm discussing them. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, feel free to head over to the YouTube if you're not there already. Hi guys on YouTube. Guys, this is a book haul, not what I've been reading. So in the past, you guys know I've done what I've been reading a number of times. This is not that. This is a book haul more so. I've some of these I have started reading, but I can't attest to them just yet. So this is more let me show you guys what I got, which is pretty cool. So some of you will remember a while ago, or quite a while ago, around about when we first started the podcast, I had gotten procured the first in these Marvel Penguin, I was going to say crossover, that's the wrong word, collaboration, that's the word I'm looking for, which was the Spider-Man, Captain America, and Black Panther issues. And then if you go back to some my earliest videos, you'll actually see them on display. You might even see them depending on which video you pick on of the more recent podcast episodes too. But these are the new set. These are like the team-based variants of these of the collaboration. X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers. So I'm really excited about these. X-Men I've been reading a lot of recently. I think it's been kind of a big thing for me at the moment. I'm really enjoying a lot of the mutant stories that I've been kind of getting into. There's some to talk about later on as well. This is a very Marvel heavy episode. But yeah, loving this book straight away. Love this. Look at that. That's obviously Magneto. I think that might be, what's his name? Can't remember off the top of my head. But what I always love about these books is that you have some real critique first. You have some real insight into the characters and what's going on as regards how they were created, and there's a whole introduction. For example, the series introduction for this one: if you were suddenly gifted with powers that set you apart from ordinary humans, what would you do? The first generation of comic book superheroes launched in the 1930s, the answer was obvious. You used your special abilities for the benefit of others. You became a champion for the helpless and oppressed, and waged an unceasing battle against evil and injustice. It was a fantasy predicated on the effortlessness fusion, and as you guys can see, it goes on. But I love what Penguin did here in kind of giving literary criticism to Marvel fans. Not saying that Marvel fans, well, some of them aren't, but I'm not saying that Marvel fans aren't literary in nature, but a lot of them are. That's the comic book medium. But I think it's really nice to see, like, before you even get into the comics here, a real write-up on what makes the X-Men tick, what makes it interesting, and just, I think that's such a great way of doing it. And then straight in, you get all these beautiful, amazing colors, the first issue of the X-Men, and just kind of really getting to understand them, and then going through it as we go through, you get, some really colorful panels. As you guys can see, it's not even as bright, like on screen right now, it's not even as bright as in real person, and it looks great. And then what they do is, what I love about these collections is they kind of jump around, so they don't keep necessarily to the same storylines, because they want to kind of give you an understanding of the wider spread of X-Men comics within reason, right? So here we've got Cyclops, you've got Scarlet Witch, you've got Sentinels, you've got all the mutant trappings going on, Quicksilver there, and even afterwards you get this kind of real big appendix, should I say. And it just, I love the way these books are put together. Not in the least that as well, when you close them and you look at the actual book, just look at that finish. First off, the gold finish, and then on the sides as well. These are real statement piece books, as well as them being something worth reading. I think sometimes with books you either get something that's like really flashy and not worth it necessarily, or you get something that's not so flashy and is a really good read. And I like having a little bit of in between there. So yeah, the same with obviously the Fantastic Four book here. You got Doom and Galactus. You've got Skrulls. You've got obviously the Fantastic Four themselves. A little bit of, it looks like, is that Doctor Strange? Maybe, potentially, maybe not. Who knows? But just very interesting. And as well, what I really like about these comics is that they do include some of the authentic pieces from the actual comics from back then as well. They have kind of like the Fantastic Four fan page, for example, and you can read through it. How about blogs of Stanley and Jack? No, that's not, that one's not interesting. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find more. Dear editor, I thought I'd seen everything, but when you showed the Thing putting on his new costume and grumbling bar costumes, that's kid stuff. Who needs them? I ain't going to wear this fool outfit. I nearly flipped. At last I found a magazine with characters which are different. They're unpredictable and unforgettable. If you don't make the Fantastic Four monthly, I'll shoot myself. I agree with that sentiment because I love the Fantastic Four. Can't wait for their movie. Can't wait to see more Fantastic Four in the general media. So that's a great one. I love the color of that one as well. It's a very muted blue, which is very different for the Fantastic Four. Usually their blues are quite forward. But here I think we have Enchantress and Loki, looks like. And again, really just delving into the Avengers mythos. But funnily enough, you have the Fantastic Four in here as well. You know, just phenomenally put together as far as these go. And I will say I love these, and I also love the Folio Society variants as well. For the Folio Society have done something very similar with Marvel as well. But I think the Folio Society is good. They do a cool thing with what they do, and theirs I would argue is better visually. I would say, you know, you get a little bit more of an intriguing kind of thing to look at, so to speak. But I think as regards what Penguin has done, kind of really digging into these characters and talking about the Avengers, but understanding the Marvel method is only the first step in appreciating the extent to which artistic labor was broadly distributed at Marvel in the 1960s. Do you know, stuff like that, just really talking about what was happening, having a historical view on comics and a lit crit view on comics is so interesting to me as someone who, you know, loves that type of stuff. I love discussing the kind of ins and outs of media, of literacy. You know, that's the whole point of For What It's Nerd, right? This one I will come back to. This is The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Now, I feel like this is something I'm going to kind of end on, so we'll go to the other Marvel stuff I have first and kind of come loop back around. So I'll leave that aside for now. Now, here is a lot of, so as you guys will know as well, this is another collection that I've been kind of collecting for a while now. I think it's a few years at this point, and that is the Marvel Legendary Collection. And the Legendary Collection is essentially a set of comics, a set of hardback comics that kind of take the best of the Marvel Universe and give you a taste of them. Not the whole run necessarily. Sometimes it is, but not necessarily the whole run. Kind of giving you a taste, letting you into this comic, letting you know what this comic's about, and then going, hey, if you want more, this is where you can look. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes it's so hard to get into comics. And I think anyone who picks this up, obviously now you won't be able to get maybe some of those first issues, but I think this is a really cool series to get in on. I actually missed out on the DC version of this, I think, and I kind of was devastated actually, because DC is something that I really want to break into comics wise, and I'm really like not struggling, but I feel like I'm gonna have to do my own legwork for that, which I think this would have been great for me as a DC kind of intro. Anyway, so we've got a few here. A Chasing Tale. This one's about Rocket. Watch the fur fly as Rocket Raccoon goes from Guardian of the Galaxy to the universe's most wanted criminal. Alongside his arboreal ally Groot, everyone's favorite furry, feisty freedom fighter has been framed for murder. But who is the pyrosonic? I don't know. Imposter who really committed the crime, and why is he so desperate to see Rocket caged? With space cops, space bandits, and space ex-girlfriends on his tail, finding the truth and clearing his name is going to be a lot easier said than done. And I think this one will probably cover the whole story, probably. But very nice art style. It's a little bit more like wacky, a little bit more cartoony, but that's very fitting for the Guardians in general, and Rocket even more so. So interested to get into that one. That's a little bit more of a modern comic, it looks like to me. When was this one? Let's have a look. Usually tells you in the beginning. Not in this one. In 2014, that one. So that's a 10-year-old comic, but you know, coming around the same time as the Guardians movie, the first one. Imperial. Now this one's interesting because we have kind of been touching on Cassandra Nova in comics recently. Anyway, in the comics that I've been reading, at least I have, should I say? But also, Cassandra Nova is the villain of Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie coming out in 2 months' time, and this covers her coming back to Earth, empowered by a Shia army, which will be really interesting to see as well. Some really cool pages here, as you can tell, some really great art. That's Emma, and it looks to me either it's Emma and multiple versions of herself, or it's the sisters. What are they called? I'm forgetting their name now off the top of my head. Oh no, it's not coming to me. The Cuckoo Sisters. That's it. Is that right? I think it is. But yeah, really, Beast is a lot more bestial in this comic as well, which is really interesting. But yeah, so there's a lot to unpack there. And the Shi'ar really kind of like back on in the interest radar because of the X-Men 97 show, and just X-Men in general at the moment are kind of in a renaissance, aren't they? So that's going to be a very interesting read. It's a thick volume, that as well, one of the thicker ones of this lot, compared even to Rocket. There you have the two side by side. It's almost maybe not double, but a good half again. Secret Invasion, I don't need to really discuss this one. Probably one of the most prolific comic book crossover events of all time. You know, scrolls everywhere. That really sums it up. I find this event. I actually thought this event is interesting, but I think it's overwrought at this point. I feel like they've talked about it so much, and it's been done so often. As like not done as in like redone, but like as in like just I think how do I put it? It feels like it's relied on a lot as like the Marvel standard, so to speak. Does that make sense? I feel like that's the case for me at least. And so whilst I'm interested to read it again and kind of get to grips with the story again, yeah, it doesn't super excite me. This one does a little bit more, and this is one that I have actually started. This is Secret Wars Part 2. I have been reading Secret Wars Part 1 that came a few months back, and obviously I haven't really had time to discuss that necessarily as yet, but this one is really interesting because it seems to be where they're going with the Secret Wars movie. This kind of idea of all these heroes being dropped onto a world called Battle World, and how that kind of pans out for the heroes. I don't want to go too far forward in this one because I'm actually reading this one now, and I probably won't forget it before I finish reading it. But the crossovers, the characters, I think, is the most interesting thing in this. You have Doc Ock dealing with the Wasp, and you have a moment with the Lizard and the Wasp as well. Actually, you have moments where Doctor Doom is dealing with Magneto, and loads of different stuff like that. And it feels so quintessentially comic book and so quintessentially Marvel superhero in that way. So really enjoy that one. Really enjoying that one, should I say. Also, the black suit comes into play in this one for Spidey, and the introduction in this one, I think, of Spider-Woman. I don't remember which one it is. Is it? I want to say, what was the name? Did it say her name? I'm going to keep checking. I'll find it. I'm sure I'll find it. Yeah, okay. Spider-Woman. It's just Spider-Woman, I think. I'm Spider-Woman, yeah. Which it's that kind of black suit, which is really interesting. But I don't know which Spider-Woman it is. I'm dumb. Hello everybody, I'm Spider-Woman. Yep, that's all it says. Okay, cool. Sure, I'll find out later. I'll read up on it. But either way, yes, another interesting one there. As well as that, I just finished Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run. That one was one that I had as one of these Marvel Legendary collections. Well, didn't finish it, but read the version of that, the Legendary version. And then also there was one for Winter Soldier as well, a story between him and Natasha, Black Widow. And that is going to have a second part. So when that one comes around, hopefully we'll do a video on it and I'll show you guys that one then. But to finish off, this is something that I've been excited for a while now. I don't talk about D&D often because I don't actually get to play D&D, and there's a number of reasons as to why that is, but I actually really love D&D. I watch Critical Role, I watch a lot of videos on D&D, and this was a Kickstarter that I became aware of through some of those videos I was watching, specifically the DM Lair. And yeah, there was a Kickstarter, and this book, along with two others, were the kind of the reward, basically. And so it's a book that kind of details. It's like a Dungeon Master's Handbook, but it's more in depth. It's giving actual on the ground advice as regards what a GM should be doing, what a GM needs, what a GM should be looking for, keeping in mind how he should address the table, how he should deal with the table, help the table, and just generally how to make a really fun adventure. So I'm only just starting, and this is not a book that necessarily you want to read paged from start to finish. It's not quite like that. It's more a book that you dip into as source material, so to speak, as kind of a guide to what you're doing. But really well done, really well put together, and it just looks stunning. And who wouldn't want, quite frankly, to carry around a book that is so nice and well put together? You know, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So with that one, I think we'll leave it there for now, guys. I hope you've enjoyed looking at these with me and talking about these with me. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, I hope you've enjoyed all the same, but do check it out on YouTube. You'll be able to see the books and have a look at them and see what I'm talking about as I've gone through here. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I don't quite know what we're going to be talking about yet. By the way, as a little aside note, we did miss last week. I do apologize for that. That was an oversight on my part. There was let's just say I wasn't too up to recording that week, last week, which is a shame because there was so much to discuss, but it feels kind of moot to go over now. So we'll catch those things when they actually release / come out, rather than discussing the trailers, etc. But until next time, guys, thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always for listening, and I'll see you guys again very soon for more. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.